Namaste, welcome to the module 5 of this online certificate course on right information. In this module, we'll be discussing various remedies available to a citizen when he or she fails to access that information in case the access is denied or delayed by the public information officer. So we'll have a look at various powers of information commission and how do they respond to these appeals and complaints. So we'll start off with section 18.1, which explains about the complaint mechanism under the Right to Information Act. So there are two categories of remedies available to a citizen whenever access is denied under the Right to Information Act. The first is complaint, filing complaint directly to the Information Commission under section 18.1, or approaching the first appellate authority under section 19.1 and thereafter approaching Information Commission under section 19.3 by way of filing second appeal. So we'll start off with the complaint mechanism under section 18.1. Section 18.1 says in certain circumstances, a citizen can file complaint directly to the Information Commission. So first clause A says when a PIO has not been appointed, then a citizen can file a complaint directly before the commission. Or when that APAO, even if the APAO is there, when APAO refuses to accept that application, which needs to be forwarded to the PIO, in such case also a complaint can be filed. And clause B says if access is refused by the public information officer, then a complaint under section 18.1 can be preferred before the Information Commission. And even a response is not given within timelines. And clause D says fee is charged, which is not reasonable. So under right information rules 2012, only reasonable fee can be charged. For example, per page, A4 size page, 2 rupee of fee can be charged. It cannot be unreasonable. That means a PIO, a public authority, cannot charge for man hours. They may take some time to compile, prepare information, but in such cases, the PIO or public authority is not supposed to charge for man hours. Even such fees cannot be charged under the Indian Right to Information Act. A great feature of the Right to Information Act is that we charge reasonable fees. For example, in America or in Britain, their public authorities can charge for man hours. If they spend some resources, they can charge for that man hours and retrieving fees, search fees also. But in India, we don't have that provision. Only reasonable fees can be charged. And if the applicant thinks that the incomplete or misleading information is given, then he or she can directly file a complaint. And finally, clause F says, in respect of any matter, an appeal complaint can be made. So this is somewhat an omnibus clause, we can say, in respect of any matter, a complaint can be made. Section 18.2 says, in case the commission is satisfied that there are reasonable grounds, it can initiate an inquiry. It can admit the appeal and it can start the inquiry. Section 18.3 says that, as usual, all the quasi-judicial institutions, so these are the quasi-judicial authorities like Consumer Redressal Commission and Human Rights Commission. So Information Commission is also a quasi-judicial authority, but it has certain additional powers when you compare with the additional quasi-judicial bodies. For example, Indian Information Commissions can be said to be the most powerful information commissioners in the world because they enjoy certain unique powers like imposition of penalty. So they can impose a penalty up to 25,000 rupees in certain cases. We can discuss these provisions under section 21 during the latter part of the presentation. But we have information commissioners in Britain, England, and they don't enjoy these kind of powers. For example, English information commissioners cannot impose this kind of penalty. Even though it is assumed to be a strong information commission, they don't enjoy. So India is one of the few countries which has this provision under which a penalty can be imposed on the public information officer. So prior to 2005, Canada had this provision, but couldn't come across a single case where Canadian Information Commissioner imposed a penalty on the officer. In America, we don't have information commissions. Their district courts enjoy jurisdiction over these disputes, but even these courts, though they have certain powers to initiate proceedings against officers for loss of or destruction of records. Uh, so far on record, we don't have any single case where American courts initiated any proceedings, action against an officer for loss of records or delaying the disclosure of records. So India is one of the few countries which introduced this provision, and we also enforce this provision. Unlike Canada, we regularly impose penalties. We can say in 2 to 3% of cases, commissions, most of the commissions impose penalties. After 2005, Bangladesh enacted Right to Information Act. They also included this provision. Nepal also included this provision. So this is, I think, a group of very few countries which have this provision. And Section 18.3 says the Civil Information Commissions enjoys the power as a civil court while trying a suit under CPC, like summoning and enforcing of attendance of any person, and commission can requisition any public record or copies from the public authority. And 18.4 has somewhat great reach because commission can examine any record under this act. If the commission likes, commission can send an officer to search and examine any record which is under the control of public authority, and no record can be withheld from the commission. You can withhold information from a requester, but you cannot, as a PAO, you cannot withhold any information from the commissioner. Commission can have in-camera inspection of any record before deciding whether to disclose the information or not. And we now go to appeal mechanism. So Section 19 deals with the appeals, various appeals which can be preferred under the Right to Information Act. So there are first appeal. There are two categories of first appeal and second appeal under Section 19.3. So 19.1 and 19.2 deal with the two categories of appeal. What is the difference between these two categories? First category under 19.1, which can be preferred by any citizen, any requester who is denied that information, who is denied access to that information. 19.2 is about the first appeal to be preferred by third party. In this case, PIO wants to disclose that information. PIO decides and sends a notice to third party before disclosing that information. In this case, third party can prefer an appeal against the disclosure under Section 19.2. So there are two categories of first appeals under 19.1, which can be received by the first appellate authority, which need to be disposed by the first appellate authority. So there are two differences between 19.1 and 2. What are those? So 19.1 has a proviso which you cannot see under 19.2. So that proviso says even after 30 days of the prescribed timeline, the first appellate authority can admit that appeal. But under 19.2, third party appeals, first appellate authority has no such discretion to admit first appeal after 30 days. And second difference is about the counting of the time. So here under 19.1, time starts from the date of receipt of the order of the public information officer. But under 19.2, the clock starts from the 30-day clock starts from the date of the order. So these are the two major differences between 19.1 and 19.2. And 19.3 deals with the second appeal by the appellants. So second appeal under 19.3 can be preferred before the Information Commission within 90 days. For first appeal, the timeline is 30 days, and for second appeal, that is 90 days. But there is a proviso, even similar to 19.1 here, even the Information Commission may admit the appeal even after the expiry of the timeline, that 90 days timeline, if Commission is satisfied that there are sufficient cause for delay in filing. And Section 19.4 says whenever the commission or first appellate authority is disposing the appeal where the information relates to third party, the third party should be given an opportunity. So they should be invited for hearing, or they should be invited for submitting their arguments. So this is a mandatory requirement, often forgotten by first appellate authorities, even sometimes commissions also. So the most important thing is the third party should be invited for the hearing, or they should be invited for submission of their arguments. So 19.5 is another key burden on, but there is called burden of proof on the PAO. If the PAO is supposed to uh, justify her denial, that it is justified and there is a valid reason for denying disclosure of information. So section 19.7 says the decision by the commission is binding. So these decisions, like judgments of the courts, these are all called decisions. So the decision by the information commissioner is binding. And what are the various powers enjoyed by information commissions? So whenever they pronounce their decisions, they can issue the following directions under section 19.8a. So they can direct access to information. They can direct public authority to appoint public information officers. They can direct public authority to publish certain categories of information, and they can also direct the public authorities to change, to reform their record maintenance management policies, and they can recommend enhancement of training provisions. They can direct the public authority to provide training on right information to the public information officers and other officers. And finally, section 19.8b is another what we can say uh, uh, great power enjoyed by information commission, that they can actually award compensation in case the applicant, the complainant or appellant says that they suffered a loss or any detriment because of denial of information, and they can impose penalties under section 20. So anyway, section 20 deals with the various kinds of penalties. We have two categories of penalties under section 20. One is imposition of penalty under section 20, subsection 1, when the commission is of the opinion that without any reasonable cause. So that says mala fide. So without any reasonable cause, if the PAO fails to provide information or refuses to receive application or malafidely denied the request. So these are the various conditions to be met. Then the commission can impose penalty, but before imposition of penalty, commission has to provide a reasonable opportunity of being heard. So naturally, they issue a show cause notice before imposition of penalty. Here the PIO has the burden of proof that he or she acted reasonably and diligently. Then if the commission is satisfied, then it can drop the show cause notice. Otherwise, it can go on and impose penalty. And section 20, subsection 2 deals with the other power enjoyed by information commission. So here, if the PIO fails to follow the instructions, or they persistently fail to receive an application, so the keyword is persistently. So in such cases, commissions can impose or recommend disciplinary action against the public information officer. So these are the various powers enjoyed by the information commissioner, various remedies available to a citizen for accessing information. So these are the two remedies. One is complaint under section 18.1 and first appeal under 19.1 and second appeal under 93. Third party has the right to file first appeal under section 19.2, and commissions have various powers here of awarding compensation under section 19.8b, or imposing penalty under section 20 subsection 1, or recommending disciplinary action under section 22. So with this, we will be completing the discussion of various remedies available to a citizen when he or she is denied access to information, and what are the various powers enjoyed by information commissioners in India. Thank you.